Good morning. My name is Chetan Vinchi. I am a co-founder and CTO at Emtropy Labs. At Emtropy Labs, we are basically building SaaS products for AI-driven performance management. When we think of performance management from an employee's perspective, what comes to mind is the following. It is basically a once in a year or twice in a year kind of a process. To the employee, it is not clear whether all the feedback that they are receiving throughout the year, which may be positive and good, be it verbal or through emails, etc., is actually being considered as a part of the formal system. And this leaves the employee a little bit confused as to whether the decisions are transparent, or it gives an opacity kind of a feeling, and decisions look arbitrary. From the manager's perspective also, it is not that great. It looks like a ritual which they have to do, and vast majority, more than 50% according to surveys, think that there isn't enough value in the system that is currently existing. More than 90% of companies have actually said that they want to move to a more continuous feedback system, but they are not able to do it because they don't have tools to do it. Some companies have used homebrew solutions, but the results are variable. How big is the market that we are looking at? People management spend is around $14 billion in the US, and out of that, performance management takes up about $2 billion. What we are building is a closed loop system based on feedback data. So going back to the employee scenario, the manager just sends an email to our AI bots, or records a voice through that. And this data now, which is unstructured, is generally noted down somewhere or written in an Excel sheet, etc. All that can be brought into the system. So we are building a low friction way of bringing this data into the system. Now, this data is baked in our system using NLP and some other AI techniques, which sounds cool, but it is something that we need right now. So anyway, and we basically built a multi-dimensional analytics dashboard out of that. And we close the loop by building or enabling check-ins, which is basically happening, gives a rhythm, which is what the managers or the companies are saying they want to do. They want to do it on a continuous basis. And also some tools for improving the quality of feedback. So this gives an inclusive, continuous performance management. It saves time and effort for the company and the employees. And there are a lot of downstream applications for it, like talent management, talent acquisition, and compensation, and so on. So this is a kind of a brief snapshot of where we are at. So we have done some market research using a very crude prototype, and basically we are using this feedback to build our initial offering. We have built the ability to bring in the data into the system. We have built some NLP pipelines and the dashboards and the check-in modules. So we are using this for some pilots, mostly in the US. We have confirmed pilots from groups in 6 companies, and many more are in the pipeline. So the team didn't work out, actually didn't render properly, but I'll just tell you a little bit about the team. I'm basically from a tech background, and I've been at Bell Labs, tech systems, etc. I've done tech and products all my life. I love to solve tech problems, and that is my strength. So I'm the CTO. I previously founded 2 tech-based startups. My co-founder is Harish. He's also an IT Bombay alumnus like me. He's a Sloan fellow. He lives in Boston, and he's taking care of the business. He has enterprise background. We have a full stack developer who is based here, and Charlie. His name is Sujeet. Charlie is an AI expert. He's moonlighting with us right now, doing research at Harvard, but he wants to join us. And there is a lot of different advisors and people we are getting help from. So we are basically, we have opened a round of initial funding. We are looking for around $300,000 in funding. This should give us a 6 to 9 months of runway, and we'll be able to build our product properly, put in all the pieces which are missing for lack of resources, etc. And to basically make our current customers successful, bring some more on board. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Open for questions.
Excellent. Your question? I'm sitting in the front. I never know somebody else. Oh, you're right there.
You did a time. Just in time.
No, because otherwise, as it is, I have a loud voice and I'm short and pushy, and I sit in front and I don't see. So I'm going to let you guys.
The whole thing is about not advisory board,
Okay,
critical thing. We have all heard in different
Okay,
before.
all right. So my first question is, who are you asking the $300,000 from?
So we are basically looking for angel investors, people who can actually help us connect to our both sides to potential customers for us.
So who's the obvious funder that you're missing, that you already have on board? There's a missed opportunity here. So if you've been through iKen, you should know the answer to this one. Manjula, is that for you? So who's the funder you already have on board that you have not asked yet?
So you're talking about us? Bootstrap?
All I know about you is the presentation.
And the best of what you said.
Yes. Why ask angel investors? You have customers who are letting you do pilot, have them give you.
That's what you told.
That's all. That's what I'm saying. Why are you asking angel? So I'm asking him like an obvious setup question, right? That's why I asked, who are you asking? He's asking angel investors. I'm like, why?
Yes, I have.
You have heard of a company called Microsoft, right?
Yes. I'm reading that here right now.
Who funded them?
Yeah, customers.
Absolutely. So if customers are willing to let you mess with their internal email data, I have no idea why they want to give you $300,000. You should not go to investors.
It's an excellent point. We've actually talked about it. So the way we started is that all these pilots are not paid pilots yet, and we have to make the transition. And we are kind of falling. So we're not looking for $5 million. I mean,
why aren't they paid pilots?
Yeah, so we have to convert that. It's a feedback that I already.
It's because you're giving them your
the opportunity.
In fact, the first thing you have to do is bring them on board, build the pilot, even if it's just for one company. Right?
Yes.
Then it's a lot easier. Then you don't need funding. You don't need all this other stuff.
We have an opportunity, possibly with Schneider Electric, where they are working with existing companies, BetterWorks, etc. But they are not solving the pain point that they have, which we can solve. So maybe we'll attempt that there.
You don't care about who else is doing. You need one customer who comes on board, really opens their thing, works with you to develop it, but they're also going to underwrite your expenses while you develop it, right? Even though it may not take care of all the funding you need, but they should be underwriting that piece of software, and you learn a lot in that process. Yes. And then doesn't matter if there are 7 competitors out there, right? Yeah, the market is large enough.
So in my defense, he's current batch. Just
okay. No, what they say na, he didn't get it. Like into the 3rd attempt he got it.
So. It's not yet completed. It's 6 weeks.
6 weeks. We are just. I'm current.
Okay, now you know what you need to graduate.
Yes. I understand.
Yeah. So I think this is the secret to a lot of startups of this kind really doing very well, because there's potential for it. But the key is really getting a customer to underwrite it and not going investor route. Then you will be just doing things investors think is important.
And also we are running after them, spending.
Absolutely. And why are you separating the revenue and the value? It makes no sense. Because if we actually solve a problem for somebody, it's going to be a huge competitive advantage for them.
Yes.
And then they will open the doors to 10 other customers.
That's true.
Yeah, no angel investors can do all that.
So the simple thing is, right, by asking them money, you are basically making them figure out how much is solving this problem worth.
Correct.
Right? So unless
That's the only validation of the market that is important. All the other information is just.
And as opposed to a consumer product, in a business product like this, your buyers are actually sophisticated enough to say, hey, this is
what they need
worth $500,000 to me.
Yeah.
I'll pay you $250K to do this one.
Yeah.
Right? So your buyers are sophisticated enough.
Yes.
And that is exactly the case study you need to go to your second customer.
And then you tell them you have to pay
then it opens
$250K, but
the
if it works, you have to call 10 other people.
Right.
I'll accept $250K, but when it works, you have to call, bring me 10 customers.
This
So
is
you
the-
still owe me $250K.
This is the exact discussion we had in the last session.
That we have gone through this. I haven't yet probably internalized it or implemented it.
Correct.
But it's a great feedback.
Alright, okay, my work is done. Sharad has anything to say?
Sharad, you have anything to say?
Chetan, you're on mute.
Sharad, we can't hear this.
Is he?
He's saying something very wise, except we can't hear.
He's muted.
He's mute.
Yeah, he's on mute.
Sharad, we can't hear you. Sharad, mute.
Sorry. I was saying that I have a radical thought. The point that I wanted to make was that there are three types of people who can rate you, right? Your customer can rate you, and there are lots of solutions. Rajan sitting in the room is, kind of a NPS crazy guy, so he can tell you more about that. And then there are your supervisors rating you, which is what you're doing.
Yes.
But to me, the one area where this can travel very well is when peers have to rate you. So there are large organizations, especially the open source organizations, Wikipedia, Linux, even iSpirit and others, which are fundamentally based on the model of peer rating. And there are no tools available for them to do that. And emails are therefore a perfect source. And so I would only suggest that as you think of, other places where you could take this solution, that may be an area where you want to also focus on. And because these organizations didn't exist in this size 10, 15 years ago, they're relatively new, and they don't have anything available to them to be able to do peer rating in a much more efficient fashion along the lines that you're doing.
So that's an excellent thought. Not really too much radical, I think. We see our system actually allows peer rating. It just takes data and processes it according to the input that it gets. So that's an excellent point about the opportunity, though we should go after the organizations or the people who need this for the peer rating, and we have to build the system for them which will solve that problem.
So, another angle to think of that is for a Wikipedia or a Linux or many of these tools, many of the open source communities, the email lists are also public.
That is true.
So you don't actually even need to ask for permission to do the peer rating.
That is correct.
So you just go look at a commit history plugin. You add the
You actually pass, you look at the data and you process it. Yes.
You don't need anybody's permission to say, hey, this person is the person who got praised
That's
or
excellent, yeah.
whatever. So for all these categories of open
See, some of these platforms like Stack Overflow, etc., they have this upvote or like or star, whatever you call it. Many of them have that. But this is something else. It's a newer angle to the peer rating, and we can definitely go after it.
You do know in the US there are going to be some fallouts from this, right? Because once people know that all the emails are watched and used for rating, on the one hand, game playing is one part of it, right? People will game the system. The other is there might be other privacy and equity concerns that could come down the road. I'm hoping, folks at MIT are thinking about that.
So yes, so we actually have thought about this. We know that we need to be upfront about what the framework is going to be. See, more concerns are there about the privacy of data, where the data is physically
Correct.
going to be, etc. Some companies have said that we won't show data. We can't really do too much about that at this moment. Maybe later we can improve, and we say, okay, we'll come back to you later, because we can't really solve the problem right now. So we are working with some other people. Like there is a Wharton professor. His name is Dr. Capelli, who is an expert in human capital, human resources.
Yeah.
So we are trying to get him on board as an advisor, and he has some ideas around this. And there are several such data points. So we are trying to
No, in that sense, it's not a new problem.
No.
But I'm just saying it's something.
It has been around. Even SAP or PeopleSoft, etc. They have solved this problem in their own way.
Yeah.
They were doing on-premises, and they are having these different SLAs, etc. So we have to do some flavor of that as well.
Yes. All right.
Any other questions?
Questions?
I'm fully convinced.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Guys.